Helen's doctor told her she was aging too early, which was rude because she hadn't even finished her coffee yet. She laughed, but he wasn't joking. "It's not the birthdays," Dr. Lewis said. "It's your mornings. You're skipping the 3 things that tell your cells you're still young." Helen blinked. 3 things? What, magic serum, kale, and regret? Dr. Lewis chuckled. "No," he said. "Much cheaper. Water, sunlight, and a little movement." "That's it?" "That's it. The simplest things keep your body young, and most people ignore them before 8 a.m. Helen tilted her head, half amused, half curious. "You're saying I'm aging faster because of my mornings?" Dr. Lewis smiled. "Not aging faster, just sending the wrong signal. Your cells are listening every day, waiting for proof that you're still alive and thriving. You just have to give them that signal again. If you've been doing everything healthy but still feel tired, stay until the end. One gentle change tomorrow morning could reset your whole week. You might just be missing the 3 habits that tell your body, hey, we're still in our prime." Part 2. Why aging speeds up in the morning, and how to slow it down. After that first laugh in the kitchen, Helen looked across the table, still smiling, but her curiosity had turned real. "So, Dr. Lewis," she asked, "are you saying my mornings are making me old?" Dr. Lewis smiled, the kind of smile that said he'd heard this 1,000 times but still cared every time. "Not old," he said gently. "Just rushed. And your body doesn't like being rushed anymore." He reached for his cup of tea, took a slow sip, then leaned back. "See, after 60, your body doesn't wake up all at once. The mind gets up first, sharp, busy, checking the phone, planning the day. But your cells, they're still in their pajamas, wondering what just happened." Helen laughed. "So, my body's slower than my brain." "Exactly," he said. "And when we jump straight into caffeine, sugar, or movement before the body's ready, it's like shouting at your cells before they've had coffee." Helen smiled again, but tilted her head slightly. "And that makes me age faster?" "Faster in quiet ways," Dr. Lewis replied. "You don't wake up one morning with wrinkles or gray hair out of nowhere. It starts on the inside. Dehydration, stress hormones, low oxygen. The heart beats harder, the vessels stiffen, the brain fogs. It's the silent kind of aging that builds a pattern before you ever see it." He tapped the table softly. "Aging isn't just time passing. It's repetition. The same small mistakes, repeated every morning, until they start to feel normal." Helen nodded slowly, as if something familiar had finally been explained. "So what should I do differently?" Dr. Lewis chuckled. "That's the best part. It's not complicated. It's 3 things so simple most people skip them, because they seem too small to matter. But together, they reset your entire rhythm." His eyes brightened. "You want a preview?" Helen leaned forward. "Of course." He grinned and shook his head. "If I told you now, you'd skip the next part." Helen laughed. "You're good." "I'm careful," he said, "because this next part isn't about diets or supplements or morning routines from magazines. It's about the first 15 minutes after you wake. What your heart, your hormones, and your brain quietly beg you to do before you ask them for anything." Helen raised an eyebrow. "You mean before coffee?" "Especially before coffee," Dr. Lewis said, smiling. "That's the moment your day, and your biological age, start to choose their direction." He stood and pointed toward the window. Morning light slipped through the curtains, soft and golden. "That light, a glass of water, and one small motion," he said, "can do more for your longevity than any expensive pill." Helen blinked, surprised. "You're serious?" "As serious as your heartbeat," he said calmly. "When you skip these, your body wakes up in defense mode. Cortisol high, blood thick, vessels tight. When you include them, it wakes in repair mode. Calm heart, steady breath, smooth circulation. That's the difference between surviving and rejuvenating." He let the silence breathe for a moment before continuing. "The research is incredible, but the real proof is how fast people feel the shift. In a week, calmer mornings. In a month, lighter steps. In 3 months, faces that look rested again." Helen smiled. You make it sound like a miracle. It's not a miracle, Dr. Lewis said softly. It's a rhythm, one your body never forgot. We just stopped listening. He gathered his notes, stood, and said with quiet confidence, "In the next part, I'll show you those 3 habits. They take less than 15 minutes. No diets, no gym, no gadgets. Just 3 small things your cells have been waiting for." He turned toward the door, paused, and looked back. "But before that, make sure you stay with us, because once you hear these, you'll never start your mornings the same way again." He smiled that familiar half-joke doctor's smile. "Go ahead. Hit subscribe now. Not for me." For your next sunrise, the room fell still. Just the gentle tick of a clock and the faint hum of the world waking up outside. And almost like an echo, his last words lingered. Your body doesn't grow old in years. It grows old in mornings. But the reason mornings speed aging isn't time. It's timing. Part 3. The 3 morning habits. You should never skip habit 1. The morning water ritual. The cellular wake-up. The next morning, Helen sat at her kitchen table again, sunlight spilling gently across the counter. She reached automatically for the coffee pot, then paused, remembering Dr. Lewis's words from yesterday. The body doesn't wake all at once, he'd said. So instead, she filled a glass with warm water. Not hot, not cold, just comfortable, like morning light on skin. "All right, cells," she murmured with a small smile. "Time to wake up before I do." That small change, 1 glass of water before coffee, is where the whole system begins to shift. Dr. Lewis often tells his patients, after 60, hydration is no longer about thirst. It's about communication. During sleep, the body loses nearly half a liter of water through breathing and skin. Blood thickens, circulation slows, and the heart must push harder just to move the same amount of oxygen. That's why so many older adults wake up with stiff joints, dry mouth, or a faint dizziness. Their bodies are literally running on half pressure. Think of your body as a small city, Dr. Lewis explained to Helen once. At night, the water supply shuts down. By morning, the pipes are dry, the traffic lights flicker. When you drink water, you're opening the main valve again. The whole city starts to move. The science behind this is simple but powerful. Warm water, not ice cold, gently signals the vagus nerve, the body's built-in relaxation switch. Within minutes, the heart rate steadies, blood vessels expand, and digestion quietly prepares for the day. Clinic observations show that a single glass of warm water after waking helps circulation and eases the heart's morning workload. That's why Dr. Lewis calls it the easiest anti-aging treatment in the world. No pills, no supplements, just warmth. Helen took another sip and smiled. This feels too easy, she thought. But within a week, she noticed something small. Her morning fatigue faded. The stiffness in her fingers loosened. Her walks felt lighter. That's the quiet power of water. It doesn't rush to prove itself. It simply restores what the night quietly took away. Many older adults mistake coffee for hydration, but caffeine acts like a gentle thief. It makes the kidneys release water faster. When the first thing you drink is coffee, your body gets stimulation without lubrication. It wakes the mind, but leaves the heart thirsty. Dr. Lewis likes to joke, coffee wakes your brain, water wakes your blood. Guess which one your heart prefers first? And he's right. When water comes before caffeine, blood pressure adjusts more smoothly. The liver begins clearing out nighttime toxins, and cortisol, your morning stress hormone, drops faster. It's your body's way of saying, we're not in danger. We're starting fresh. For Helen, it became a quiet ritual. She would drink her warm water, look out the window, breathe once, and only then move on to coffee. It's like giving my body a head start, she said later. Before I ask it to do things, I let it remember how to be calm. If you've ever felt dizzy, tense, or tired right after waking, it's probably not age. It's dehydration. Even a tiny 2% drop in body water can raise heart rate, reduce focus, and make your body confuse thirst for hunger. That's why so many older adults crave sugar early in the day. Their bodies are just asking for water. Here's how to do it right. Drink 1 glass of warm water before anything else. Add a squeeze of lemon if you like, but skip salt or vinegar. Your stomach isn't ready yet. Wait 5 minutes before coffee or breakfast. Let your organs stretch awake. That short pause, those 5 calm minutes, are what Dr. Lewis calls the difference between a body that fights the day and one that welcomes it. And the results? Patients who follow this small habit for 2 weeks often report steadier energy, fewer morning headaches, and a calmer pulse. In Dr. Lewis's clinic, many older adults who began their day with warm water showed better morning circulation and less mid-morning fatigue. It's not magic, it's just physics, fluid dynamics, patience, and kindness. Helen laughed about it during her next visit. "I used to think youth came in bottles," she said. "Turns out it just came from the faucet." If you're going to try water before coffee tomorrow, comment "I start with water." If you already do this, tap like. Let's see how many of us begin the day gently. Because the simplest habits are often the ones that quietly rewrite how your body ages. And as Dr. Lewis likes to remind his patients, every sip before sunrise is one less strain on your heart. Now that your body is awake, let's wake your hormones with the morning light that teaches your cells how young to feel. Habit 2. Sunlight and breath, the hormone reset. The next morning, Helen opened her curtains before touching her phone. A streak of early light spilled across the floor, soft, golden, a little shy. She stood there for a moment, eyes half closed, letting it rest on her face. "All right," she whispered. "You and me, sunshine. Let's try this." That moment, 2 quiet minutes of light, began to change everything. Dr. Lewis often says, "Your body runs on light more than food." Every morning, sunlight is your real breakfast, and he isn't being poetic. When sunlight reaches the back of your eyes, it sends a signal straight to the brain. Wake up, produce serotonin, calm the cortisol. It's a chemical handshake between your environment and your cells, resetting the rhythm that controls energy, mood, and even memory. After 60, he explained, the brain's clock gets fuzzy. It wakes late, sleeps unevenly, and loses the cues it once received naturally. Sunlight brings that rhythm back. Most people think aging steals energy, but much of what we call fatigue is really hormonal confusion. When mornings start in dim light, indoors, the body doesn't realize it's morning. It still runs on nighttime chemistry, high cortisol, low serotonin, sluggish metabolism. No wonder so many older adults feel anxious or foggy before breakfast. Think of your body as an orchestra, Dr. Lewis told Helen during a checkup. The instruments are fine. They just need the conductor to raise the baton. Sunlight is that baton. Within seconds of exposure, light activates the brain's master clock, the suprachiasmatic nucleus, a small cluster of neurons that governs your sleep-wake rhythm. It lowers melatonin, the sleep hormone, and raises serotonin, the feel-good one. That shift doesn't just lift your mood. It tells your heart, lungs, and digestion the day has begun. Start in harmony. Helen had never thought of light as medicine, but it started to make sense. For years, she had woken up, brewed coffee, scrolled the news, and eaten breakfast before even opening the blinds. "I used to think I was starting early," she said. "Turns out I was starting in the dark." Once she began stepping into the light each morning, even just at the window, something subtle changed. Her sleep deepened. Her energy lasted longer. The morning restlessness she once blamed on age softened into calm. Dr. Lewis calls this the 5-minute hormone reset. It's simple, 5 minutes of morning light paired with 5 deep breaths. Here's how it works. Each deep inhale stimulates the vagus nerve, slowing heart rate, lowering blood pressure, easing cortisol. Combined with light, it's like pressing 2 reset buttons at once, one for the body, one for the mind. Research from major sleep centers suggests that people over 60 who get morning light within the first hour of waking enjoy steadier mood and deeper sleep at night. Light in the morning means darkness at night. Your body relearns when to rest. Helen turned it into a small ritual. Each morning, she'd open the window, breathe slowly, and whisper, "Good morning, world." Her neighbors probably thought she was greeting her cat, but really, she was greeting her hormones. Your body listens to your breath more than your thoughts, Dr. Lewis often says. So if you start the day rushing, your cells think the world's on fire. If you start with calm, they believe you're safe. That belief, safety, is what slows aging at its roots. Because when cortisol stays high, the body spends the whole day in defense mode, breaking down tissue, raising blood pressure, tightening arteries. But when serotonin rises first, the system flips to repair mode. Muscles relax, cells rebuild, memory sharpens. You don't need a sunrise walk by the beach to do this. Step outside your door, stand on your balcony, or simply face a window. Let the light hit your skin. Take 5 slow breaths. Each one tells your nervous system, it's morning. You can stop fighting now. Helen said it best on the phone one day. It feels like my body finally knows what time it is. Try it tomorrow. Don't rush for coffee or screens. Step into the light. Breathe. Notice what happens. If you already start your mornings this way, comment I start with light. If you're going to try it tomorrow, tap like. Let's see how many mornings begin with calm instead of chaos, because the way you greet the sun decides how your hormones greet you back. Now that your mind has found its rhythm again, it's time to wake something deeper. The body itself. The next habit is for your heart, your muscles, and the quiet strength that keeps you feeling young long after 60. But first, remember, your hormones follow your light, and your heart follows your movement. Let's bring them together in the next step, the one that teaches your circulation to feel young again. Number 3. Gentle morning movement. The circulation switch. The first few mornings, Helen just stood by the window, watching the light spill across her living room. But on the 4th morning, her knees gave a quiet crack as she reached for her cup, and she laughed to herself. "All right, body," she said. "You're invited too." So she began to move, slowly, without music, without pressure. Just a quiet stretch, the kind her mother used to do when the kettle began to whistle. A gentle reach for the ceiling, a roll of the shoulders, a slow twist from side to side. 2 minutes, maybe 3. Nothing fancy, but it changed everything. Dr. Lewis always tells his patients, movement isn't exercise, it's communication. It's how you remind your body that you're still here. After 60, the circulatory system wakes more slowly. Blood pools in the legs overnight, blood pressure dips, and the heart has to push harder when you stand too fast. That's why so many older adults feel dizzy in the morning. The heart simply hasn't caught up yet. Think of your heart as a gentle engine, he said once. If you start it too suddenly, it sputters. But if you warm it up, it purrs. Gentle movement, even a few arm circles or calf raises, tells the body, we're beginning. It sends oxygen to the brain, unlocks stiff muscles, and signals the nervous system that it's safe to move. Clinic observations suggest that just 2 minutes of light stretching after waking can noticeably boost circulation to the brain, improving balance and alertness through the day. It's not a workout, it's a biological wake-up call. Helen noticed it within the first week. Her mornings used to feel heavy, as if her body were waiting for permission to move. But after those 2 minutes, something shifted. Her hands felt warmer, her breath steadier. She even began humming while stretching, a small sound that made her feel, as she put it, a little more alive than I expected to at 70. Dr. Lewis laughed when she told him that. "That's not age," he said. "That's circulation. You've just turned your body's key before driving it." He reminds his patients that this kind of movement doesn't have to look graceful. You don't need yoga mats or routines. The goal isn't to stretch perfectly, it's simply to tell your blood to move. Here's a simple way to start. Stand near a chair or wall for balance. Roll your shoulders 10 times backward, then 10 forward. Rotate your ankles and wrists in slow circles. Take a deep breath, lift your arms above your head, and reach up as if you're greeting the ceiling. Exhale, bend slightly forward, and let your arms hang loose. That's it, 1 song's worth of time. But those few minutes improve circulation, loosen joints, and gently raise blood pressure to its natural level. So when you sit down for breakfast, your body is already balanced. Dr. Lewis puts it simply, you're not trying to burn calories. You're trying to remind your body it still belongs to the day. Helen said her mornings began to change personality. They used to be all noise and rush. Now they felt quiet, deliberate, almost tender. If you've been skipping movement because it seems unnecessary, try this tomorrow. 2 minutes, no more. Move like you're stretching out of sleep, not performing, just beginning. And if you already start your mornings with a little stretch, comment, "I start my day gently." It's a small promise that says, even with age, we choose to begin with kindness, because aging doesn't start in your wrinkles. It starts in the moments when you stop moving. And sometimes, all your heart needs to feel young again is the reminder that it's still allowed to dance. Now that your body has woken with grace, Dr. Lewis will bring all 3 habits together, water, light, and motion, into one simple morning flow that teaches the body how to feel young again. But this next part isn't about stretching anymore. It's about rhythm, the quiet rhythm that tells every cell, we're safe, we can repair. Stay with it. The flow you'll see next is where everything connects. Part 4. Doctor's Formula. The 15-minute morning flow. Dr. Lewis once said, "Most people wake up to survive the day. What if you woke up to repair it?" This isn't an exercise routine or a wellness trend. It's a quiet ritual, a way to help your body remember how to feel young again. 15 minutes. That's all it takes. But every minute tells a different story to your heart, your brain, and your cells. So, let's begin. Minute 1 to 2. The water signal. You wake. The world is still soft. Don't rush. Before the coffee, before the news, reach for a glass of warm water. Not cold, not boiling, just gentle. As you drink, imagine your body as a river after a long night of drought. That first sip sends a signal downstream to your liver, your kidneys, your blood, that life is moving again. Dr. Lewis calls this the circulation whisper. Water thins the blood just enough to ease the heart's morning workload. It clears leftover cortisol your body built overnight and tells your digestion, you can start now, but there's no rush. Most people think hydration is about thirst, but after 60, it's really about pressure. Blood pressure, cellular pressure, emotional pressure. Warm water releases all 3. Take 1 slow breath after the last sip. That's your cue. The day has started kindly. Minute 3 to 7. The light reset. Walk to the window. Open the curtain. Let sunlight find you. It doesn't matter if it's bright or faint. Your body just needs proof that morning is real. Stand there a moment. Eyes soft, breathing slow. In those few minutes, your brain rewrites its chemistry. Light turns off melatonin, the sleep hormone, and lifts serotonin, the happiness messenger. It's your body's natural hello. Dr. Lewis explains it simply. When light enters your eyes, your body stops defending itself and starts repairing itself. For older adults, this moment is powerful. Hormones, heart rhythm, and mood fall back into sync. The sunlight isn't decoration, it's instruction. If you can, open a window. Feel the air touch your face. That's oxygen, reminding your cells they're still needed. Each slow breath massages the vagus nerve, calming the heart and lowering blood pressure. After a few breaths, say something small to yourself. Not an affirmation, just a greeting. Good morning. Those 2 words do more than you think. They shift your nervous system from reaction to response. Your body listens when you speak gently to it. Minute 8 to 14. The movement flow. Now it's time to move, not to sweat, but to awaken. Stand where you are. Spread your toes slightly. Let your shoulders fall back, spine tall but relaxed. Imagine your skeleton smiling. The bones have been waiting all night to stretch. Start simple. Roll your shoulders backward, feeling the faint creak fade away. Rotate your wrists and ankles. These are your balance centers. When they move, the whole body reorients. Take a deep breath. Lift your arms above your head. Stretch like you're greeting the ceiling, then exhale and let everything fall. This is not exercise. It's a conversation between you and gravity. Dr. Lewis often says, each gentle movement opens capillaries, wakes the muscles, and tells your heart it's safe to beat faster. You're lubricating joints, yes, but you're also lighting tiny biological lamps. As blood starts to flow, mitochondria, the energy factories inside your cells, begin to hum. They turn oxygen into ATP, the quiet fuel that keeps you alert. Helen once said it felt like her body was rejoining the morning. That's exactly it. You're syncing with life again. One stretch, one breath at a time. If you want, add soft music, strings, piano, or nature sounds. Let your breath follow the melody. That's how your heart learns tempo again. 2 minutes later, finish with a small ritual. Stand still, hands over your heart, and feel the beat. That's your proof. You're alive, awake, and steady. Minute 15, the stillness. Most people stop here, but Dr. Lewis always adds one last minute, the most important one. Sit down, close your eyes. Just notice the quiet. Feel the warmth in your hands, the air in your chest, the light still resting on your skin. Your entire system, nervous, hormonal, circulatory, has now reset. You've hydrated your blood, tuned your hormones, and opened your vessels. You've reminded your body it can trust the day. That's the foundation of anti-aging. Not pills, not secrets. Trust. Dr. Lewis says, when your body feels safe, it starts to repair what time took away. Every morning you do this, you reverse a little of the silent wear that builds overnight. Your brain remembers better, your blood flows smoother, your heart beats easier. You won't notice it all at once, but one day, you'll catch yourself in the mirror and think, I look calmer. That's not vanity. That's healing. So tomorrow, don't wake to survive. Wake to repair. 15 minutes. That's all it takes to teach your body to feel young again. If you try this tomorrow, write in the comments, I begin my day with calm. If this video inspired you, share it with someone you love and subscribe to the Ageless Vitality channel because the next story might help them rediscover their mornings too. Because next, Dr. Lewis will reveal something even more powerful. What happens when people who skipped these habits for years finally start? Sometimes, the most beautiful change begins long after you thought it was too late. Part 5. The body that still remembers. The morning light had changed for Helen. It wasn't something she noticed all at once. It crept in quietly, like a song she already knew the words to. The air felt softer, her steps lighter. And somewhere in that 15-minute flow, she began to feel not just awake, but alive again. Dr. Lewis often said, the body never forgets how to heal. It just waits for the right signal. And that's exactly what these small mornings had become. Signals, gentle reminders that the body still knows what to do when you stop rushing it. He sat in his office one morning, watching the sunlight fall across his notes. Most of my patients, he said, don't need more medicine. They need rhythm. They need permission to slow down long enough for their biology to catch up. That's the quiet secret of renewal. It doesn't begin with effort. It begins with space. For decades, Helen thought youth meant energy, that if she could just move faster, sleep less, do more, she'd stay young. But now, her youth came in different shapes: the patience to stretch, the grace to rest, the joy of doing one thing at a time. Dr. Lewis calls it cellular trust, the moment your body realizes you're no longer fighting it. The heart stops bracing for stress. The brain stops scanning for danger. Muscles stop tightening in anticipation. When the body feels safe, it repairs. When it feels seen, it remembers. After 3 weeks of her new routine, Helen wrote him a note. It's not that I look younger, she said. It's that I feel like myself again. I didn't lose youth. I just forgot where I left it. That's the quiet magic of mornings done right. You don't reverse time. You remind time that you're still here. Dr. Lewis often explains it in 3 simple truths. Water wakes the heart. Light wakes the hormones. Movement wakes the mind. Together, they create the rhythm the body has been missing, a steady beat that runs through every cell. It's not complicated. It's not glamorous. It's simply human. He leaned back in his chair one afternoon and said softly, people chase youth through products, diets, promises. But youth was never lost. It was buried under noise. Every calm morning is a way to uncover it again. Helen now calls her mornings the reset. She drinks her water by the window, stretches while the kettle sings, and watches the world wake without hurry. Sometimes she waves to her neighbor, sometimes she hums an old tune. Every gesture says the same thing. I'm still learning how to begin. And that, Dr. Lewis would say, is the essence of vitality. Not strength or speed, but the willingness to start again. He ends every seminar with a line his patients never forget. You don't have to fight aging. You just have to stop rushing through it. So tomorrow, before the world pulls you into its noise, give yourself 15 quiet minutes. Drink your water. Meet the sun. Stretch your story open again. Because aging doesn't happen in years. It happens in mornings. If this message speaks to you, share it with someone you care about, a friend, a parent, a neighbor. One calm morning might change their whole week. And if you'd like to keep walking this path together, subscribe to the Ageless Vitality Channel. Every day, we share small habits that help your body feel safe, strong, and beautifully alive, no matter what your age says. Every sunrise is a second chance. Let your body remember that it's still capable of joy. And when tomorrow comes, start it gently, because the body that still remembers is waiting for you.